This is Trevor Sternad from the Black Dahlia Murder here, and you're listening to the Everblack Poscast.
Hey, human skull, this is odorous from Guam.
Going to the Fear Factory.
This is George Corshunter Fisher.
This is Gas from Double Drop.
This is Wade from Our Last Enemy.
Magnificent Suicidal Tendencies.
Hey, this is Wednesday 13.
This is Bruce Evans.
This is Rex from Kill Devil Hill.
This is Gary Lee from Sepultura. You're listening to Everblack Podcast.
Before we go into this episode of the Everblack Podcast, we just need to give a shout out to our show supporters, the occult clothing brand Electric Witch, who have amazing apparel from shirts to hoodies to hats to beanies, dresses and more. Check out their full range at electricwitch.com.au and put in the code Everblack for 20% off your order. Also, don't forget to subscribe, rate and review the Everblack Podcast on Spotify and iTunes podcast streams, and see all our video interviews on the Everblack YouTube channel. You can also read all our articles and reviews at everblack.com.au. All right, on with the show. Hey, more the merrier. Hey, buddy.
Hey, what's up, Nev? How you doing?
Good, boys. What's happening?
Not a lot. It's late here.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, it's not that late. It's like 10:30, but it's it's getting close to bedtime. We've got to go and repack 1,000 vinyls tomorrow. So yeah,
busy boys. But that's cool.
Yeah.
Hey, man, that's that. Where are you boys?
So I'm over in the Cotswolds in UK. So that's pretty countrified in the middle between Bristol and London, really.
Yeah, and I'm just sort of south of Bristol. So yeah, we're both kind of southwest boys.
Is that far from each other?
About an hour and a half from each other.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Definitely. Obviously, can't see anyone at the moment because lockdown and COVID and all that bullshit.
Yeah, it's pretty bad over there. Hey.
Yeah, it's getting a lot better. Thankfully, we had over sort of January, February, it's really bad. And
it's been 3 months of everyone just being at home.
Yeah, and Europe's getting really bad at the moment, like super bad. So we're kind of just, who knows if we're going to get that, but hopefully everyone will get vaccinated by then, and we can just live a life again.
Some form of more normal.
Yeah,
we've just had a flare up of it here after having like a run of nothing.
Yeah,
and then literally over the last couple of days, someone contracted it, and we're not full lockdown, but they've cancelled one of the biggest festivals.
Oh man!
Day notice. That was Blues Fest in Byron, which is massive. I don't know if you guys have ever been to Australia, but have you?
No, I haven't. But I know Byron's obviously that's where Parkway from, and Parkway, like they're down that way, aren't they? So
yes, which is very sort of, I'd say about an hour and a half from where I am. I used to book millions of years ago.
Really? They're really nice guys. Like, I met Winston. I met Winston randomly. Like they were playing Brixton Academy, and my friend Tom was doing loads of artwork for them. So we went for a Tai Chi latte, and then because he doesn't drink or anything. So and then we went, and I met up with him in the studio the next day. He was recording on the You and Me at 6 album, doing a guest vocal. So I took my now wife there. We just hung out with him, and he did his guest vocals, and she had a can of lilt, and it was nice.
How's that? It's funny that I remember seeing them. What was it? It was a tiny, probably about the size of this room, playing with another band. And I was like, "Oh, who are these guys?" And mate goes, "Oh, they're some band from Byron called Parkway something." And then my wife saw their very first show at a church. Like
where are they now?
Show.
Where are they now?
I know. What are you doing with your lives? with your fucking pyro and your drums turning upside down and shit. Crazy how things can happen. But mate, what do you have? What are you having, a beer tonight?
I've had a few beers, but I'm actually on an alcohol-free beer at the moment.
I just finished mine, so I'm the same. I'm not going to have another one because we've got to be up early to go and get these frickin' finals.
It's becoming a bit of a habit because we're doing quite a lot of press at the moment. We just could not drink too much.
Well, I'd be usually having one with you boys, but 8 o'clock in the morning, and I don't think my boss, when I hit work, he's pretty crazy. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm having a nap. So
What's good? What's good? What's good to drink out in Australia?
what's sorry?
What's good to drink out in Australia?
Oh, mate, I'm weird. I'm one of those guys that likes heaps of like the weird brewery beer,
Craft beers. and
craft
stuff.
beers. Yeah,
Yeah, no, I
Okay.
see.
I like all the weird shit. I like VB a lot. VB,
Yeah, VB's wicked. That's definitely the best. Definitely the best Australian like kind of normal beer I've had. Yeah, Victoria Bitter is wicked. It's yeah, very nice.
Nobody drinks Foster's.
No one drinks it here. No one. We only used to drink it here because it was brewed literally down maybe 2 miles from my house.
It's cheap as fuck as well.
Yeah, it tastes like fucking piss. There's only a couple of beers. There's only a couple of beers over here that taste worse, and that's Carling and
Carling's
yeah, no.
dreadful.
Tuborg.
Yeah, no.
Tuborg's better than Carling.
No, Tuborg dries my throat out, man. Like,
But I
it's the
hate
worst
those
rider
lagers.
beer.
They're so gross.
The worst rider beer.
If you get it over there, it's called Wakachangi. It's from New Zealand. It's a New Zealand
nice.
beer, and it's got a dude saving a woman from a demon hamster with a spatula on the front, and it's like clean. Look it up, Wakachangi. This isn't a plug.
Yeah.
Please
I
send
did.
it.
I was out there like a year and a half ago. I can't remember now. It's been so long.
Just over a year ago.
Yeah, just over a year ago. I was in New Zealand and I didn't see it. And I wish I'd seen it now.
That really
yeah.
reminds me of like I was in Germany with a bunch of mates once, and we was like on this like at this lake, and we just got this massive crate of beer. Couldn't read what it was called, but it had like a guy on the front of it just dragging a deer like from like behind, and we just called them deer killers.
Nice. Hey, tasty.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, as long as it's not those Fosters or the other two.
Yeah,
well, thanks for joining us, boys. Of course, the new Devil Salty Soul album will be released very soon, April 9, I believe.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah,
it's April 1st here, so it's no pranking.
nearly is here.
But hey, this thing, Loss, is the album, and it sounds massive. Like the production is huge. The guitars sound huge. Like this thing, it's got so much weight to it, and it's
Johnny's done a crazy job with how good it sounds.
Mate.
Like we're so happy with it.
But it's emotionally as well. It's got a lot of like your vocals, like and the melodies. It's powerful musically, but also vocally as well. And I haven't heard something like that in a little while that moved me like that.
Oh, that's
That's
awesome.
cool, man. That's really good to hear.
Yeah,
thank
man.
you. It's something we kind of pride ourselves on, being really honest with our music, and just laying a lot of kind of our real life stuff into it. We don't tend to write stuff for people. We write it for ourselves and trying to get a lot of stuff off our chests. So I hope that comes across as quite sincere, because it is, and it's, you know, we always want to write music that matters.
Yeah, and I mean we've all been through quite a lot in the past 3 years over the process of writing it. Like when we started it, our drummer lost his mum really suddenly and unexpectedly, and it really kind of framed the whole experience of it in terms of like the grief that Lex was going through the whole of the writing process. It was as a friend, like someone that you've known for years, like seeing him go through that was absolutely heartbreaking, and he was having a really tough time. And I think it must have been one of the few things, as hard as it was to do it while he was going through all that stuff, I think it probably helped push him through it in certain respects. And it just felt like we needed to sort of broach that like vocally as much as anything. But a bunch of us have been through loss and grief through the process in different ways and forms, and we're all quite introverted, I guess. Well, not all maybe, but a number of us are quite introverted, sort of anxious people. So there's a lot going on in our heads at any given point, I think. So it's something to, and I think that is a global truth. That's not just us. And I think singing about that stuff it might be helpful for other people as well, I think, hopefully.
Absolutely. You can feel it all the way through. As I said, I can't even put it really into words, but the only thing I can think of is that there's a weight to it. It's a heavy album, but not heavy as in heavy. It's heavy as in it's emotionally.
Yeah.
Was it eight string guitars? Is it?
No,
it's just 6 strings.
Yeah, 6 and 8.
Man, they're like tuned right.
Yeah,
down.
they're down a bit. Yeah, down to I think it's C standard or drop A.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's an element where like I think they had to one of the tracks it definitely drops lower, so they use an octave
burdened.
pedal.
Yeah, that bit's lower. Yeah.
Heavy.
Because there's an octave step on it, isn't there, where they just kick the pedal, off, down it goes, happy days.
But yeah, I think when they recorded it, I think we're going to have to use octave pedals live. But I think literally when they recorded it, it was like I think Johnny put like a crazy big string on his guitar.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I remember getting it.
Good bass string.
I was thinking like production wise, Johnny did such a good job, and
I
think
man,
he's done a good job on all of our records. But I think this one genuinely, I listened back to the last EP and compared to, I was like, wow. I mean, that one sounded good, but this is like the mix on this is so good.
He's just getting better and better and better, and I think like it just in terms of like not even just recording it and engineering it, but definitely with mixing it as well. No one knows the band better than we do, and no one knows how the band should sound probably better than Johnny in some respects. So it's like he just gets it, and he can just do a better job than anyone else ever could do, I think. So it's just a no-brainer for us in terms of him doing it, but he just gets better and better at it. And yeah, I think we were all just so happy with how it sounds. It sounds awesome.
The way it flows as well. Like there's a couple of tracks that sort of, jump out a little bit in terms of heaviness and maybe
of course.
theme, but overall it loops. I don't know if it was intentional, but I've noticed when I've had it on in the car, it'll stop at the last track, and then comes straight back in, like fades in.
That wasn't intentional at all. That's I don't think that was intentional. I think it was. Mate, but that's cool.
Yeah, I don't know if it's to do with obviously the key was written, the songs are written in. All seem to flow, but when it creeps back in, mate, when it starts. How do you pronounce the first opening track? Sorry.
Ado.
When that creeps back in, mate, I get goosebumps, and it flips around, and mate, like there's a lot going on. There's a lot to unpack in this album.
That's so cool, because I mean, we always think like the track listing is like super important. It's as important as the songs themselves, getting them in that correct order. Like if you don't get the songs in the correct order, the songs won't have the same impact as they could do if you get them next to each other in the right way, because a song being after a certain song can really make that song so much better by doing that. And the idea that actually the last song has that cool mood shift from the last song into the first song again is quite cool. Like it always makes the first song better than it was the first time around. That's cool. That's awesome.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like I was listening, I was blown away. I love it. It's like a soundtrack. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's wicked.
Yeah. I was
what for you in terms of what tracks really kind of, I don't know, drew you to them more, and not necessarily being heavy or whatever. Was there anything in there that you were like, this one speaks to me more?
It resonates.
Yeah.
Oh, mate.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
Yeah, I don't know. That is a really hard one, because I hear it like it's a complete piece, if you know what I mean. But if I was to say, I do like the drumming in I can't remember the name of it. It's a single. Sorry guys, it's early morning here.
Burdened. It's like really fast start.
Yeah. And that with all the atmospherics, mate.
I love that song.
To me, like that's
cool, man.
Yeah.
Sweet.
But overall, as a whole piece, it's something that I definitely appreciate.
That's how I feel about it. It's hard. It's like puzzle pieces come together to give you like a whole picture, I think. And like you can take all the songs out separately, but all the songs together make the other songs better, I think.
Absolutely. And I love it. Done so well,
Awesome.
boys. Yeah. And it's coming out on cassette.
Oh yeah. That's mental. If we hadn't even thought about it, then like the UK label boss was like, "Hey, you thought about doing cassettes?" I was like, "No, not at all." So,
but like all of us growing up through like being born in the 80s and growing up through the 90s, it was like, "Fuck yeah, let's do a cassette." We'd never had our album on a cassette because we were like too late for that, I suppose. But
Yeah,
yeah, the idea of being able to listen to our album on a cassette and just having it, it's just the nostalgia. I mean, it's a collector's thing more than anything. It's not.
I'm
really
just going to look at it. I don't have a cassette player, so I'm just going to stare at it and go.
I can't wait to put it in. It's going to sound absolutely dreadful, but in the best sort of way.
I don't know how old you boys are, but I'm an older man where I used to go to
How
school.
old's an older man?
I'm 40 this year, boys.
I'm not too far off you, man. I'm 36.
35,
so...
36.
Oh, there you go. I am a grandpa, by the way. There you go.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I am. Yes. Crazy, right?
No way.
But I remember going to school with a big duffel bag full of well, these things, cassettes. I have one cassette.
Yeah.
It's a collective thing.
No.
But yeah, and we used to do the pencil thing where you like rewind it real fast.
Yeah.
These kids these days don't know how
they don't know how lucky
media.
they got it. They got it made, man. We had to go through this attrition and pain. For
Oh
them.
my god! Oh man, they don't even know they were born, do they? Right?
Shout at the moon.
But of course, working together as vocalists, how was that writing? Because I can imagine it's hard, and it's a very personal thing writing lyrics. How is it writing together and sharing those experiences?
Well, writing the parts, we first and foremost, we decided that we were going to look at it from a musical perspective before we start looking at it from a lyrical perspective. Because I suppose there's different ways of broaching vocals, but I think you get a more naturalistic approach if you think about it in terms of just singing. First and foremost, just think about it as like, because it has to be good musically before it can be good lyrically, because otherwise it's not fulfilling its base purpose, I suppose. And if you write lyrics first, you can sometimes dig yourself into holes in terms of how things need to be phrased and stuff like that. So we just went at it in terms of singing. We just sang phonetics and stuff, and doing that stuff, like working out what we're doing, how it needed to sound and stuff. That was really, really easy. Like we just hung out and would just record each other and start going, hey, those bits were cool, and we just really collaboratively arranged the vocals together. It was really like nice, easy process, and we made a decision that we weren't going to like work ourselves like too hard. Like if we hit like a target, like if we finished a song, cool, done for the day, nice. Or if we sort of start getting towards the end of the day and maybe we're sort of struggling with something, we just like, you know what, let's step back from this, we'll have a beer, we'll go out for breakfast tomorrow morning, let's just put some time between this. Like rather than sitting there just bashing your head against the wall and like ruining the mood or ruining the flow, just step back and don't worry about it. Forget about it.
Yeah, it totally like helps being that calm and cool and like just enjoying the time rather than making it a work mission. Yeah. It just took the pressure off. It allowed us to enjoy ourselves, and I think some of the songs, I think even the harder ones that we struggled to write, I think towards the end we but Not Forgotten and Signal Fire were the last two we kind of really, because we'd left till later and we were kind of not looking forward to it, but then we got to them as like, actually this is easy. Like,
well, we were sort of waiting for an epiphany, weren't we, with those two? Because we were struggling a little bit in terms of understanding what it was we needed to do, but by putting them off, putting them down the line, it gives you a bit of time for it to kind of settle in, I suppose.
They're definitely ones that the ideas just weren't flowing initially for, but then when we got there, it was like, yeah, this is wicked. Here we go, we've done it.
Yeah, like for instance, we decided first and foremost we're just going to start with the one which we knew we were going to find the easiest, because we'd basically written it in a practice room. We knew what we were doing, so we started with Acrimony, and it was just like, let's start with the easy one and just get ourselves like just celebrate successes. So if you start off on a good foot, you're bound to like don't go in on the hard one. That's a really good way to have a horrible time.
Yes. Yeah, but I mean, sometimes you got to let those songs grow on their own. Hey, like if you bash it against the wall and you go, okay, I've got to put it aside, and then it'll tell you when it's ready, when it's cooked. So
yeah, big time. Like Signal Fire, for instance, like for ages we thought like it was one of the things that we probably fundamentally like had planned wrong off the bat. Like the whole first half of the song was we were just sure it was supposed to be singing. We were just absolutely adamant that it should be singing that song. And the second we go, should we just do screams in this bit? It was like, fuck, this is way better. Like it was just like, this is easy.
Yeah, and it's a nice throwback one as well, because it's got like a slight touch of an ocean of lights in there as well, and
Yeah,
that's like a
blessed
really
and curse, isn't it?
yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool to have that like this almost nostalgia vibe with part of it, and when you look back on that now, it's like why would we have done anything different? It's
so
crazy, isn't it?
It felt so obvious when we stumbled across that.
Yeah.
It was like, oh my god, we're idiots. We're like absolute idiots.
Sometimes, mate,
But-
every song's a puzzle, right? You know? Like,
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
definitely.
It's a puzzle, and you just got to find the pieces.
Absolutely.
But yeah, in terms of writing the lyrics, it is harder. You can't just sit next to each other and try and figure out lyrics between the two of you. You've got to be in the exact right frame of mind to even sit there and start writing that stuff. Like, it's not easy, and especially, I mean, the way. So going like conversely to what I said earlier, if you work with the music first, you then put yourself into a stencil for what you've got to write, as opposed to it going the other way. So it does make probably writing lyrics a little bit harder in certain respects, because you've got to really like shoehorn some stuff into your ideas, I guess. But yeah, the way we worked with that, we did try and do it together one weekend, and it was just it was not a fun process, and we didn't get very far. So
No.
we went off and we did stuff separately, and we just send it back and forth. So we did the kind of remote thing, but it works with lyrics because it's you can then sit at it at your own time when you're in the mood for it. You can start editing stuff and like looking at it and just looking at, even if it's just looking at how words sound, finding like, synonyms for certain words that have the correct sound for like a held note or something like that, and just going through it that way. And we just send them back and forth until we were both happy. And yeah, that was probably longer than writing the parts, I think, wasn't it, Paul?
Yeah, definitely. I reckon I chucked a load of drafts over that I'd done of some of the songs before I went away to New Zealand, because I was just like, I need to get this done before I go, otherwise I'm gonna be thinking about it whilst I'm on honeymoon, and I was just like, no way, I'll get shot if I do that.
Yeah, I know that one. But
Yeah.
but was there working together like that, as you're both brilliant at what you do? Did you teach any techniques to each other or anything through that process? Did you learn from each other as vocalists?
It's really kind of you, man. Honestly, that's really nice to say. And I mean, I've just this crippling self-doubt in my mind thinks, no, I'm not that good. And I, it's I guess I learn about writing probably more than actual techniques. So I think my techniques and stuff that I use, and probably Ed's same, that we they kind of stayed similar. We maybe improved on our elements over the years, but writing wise, I definitely learned some stuff, because we do write differently. We approach things slightly differently, and especially lyrically we do as well, in terms of how we maybe I never really thought about those mouth noises and stuff, the synonyms, and something I've kind of more maybe tried to shoehorn lyrics into things previously. So yeah, there are definitely some bits I learned off it. But yeah.
I mean, for instance, I'd never written with another vocalist before, so this was an entirely new territory for me. But it was enlightening, actually, having like a collaboration like that, rather than it all being. There's a lot of pressure, right, being a vocalist, I feel, when you're writing an album, because it's like, to some people anyway, not like, I think if you said this to a guitarist, they'd bitterly disagree with you. But for a lot of people, it's kind of the most important part, and it's like one of the lead instruments. So it's like there's a lot of pressure to get it right. And I think doing that with somebody else, having someone else sort of have a sympathetic ear, I suppose, because like Paul was saying, like we're our own worst enemies, both of us. Like if you try something out and you're not 100% happy with it straight away, one, it can sour your own mood and make you not want to work on it any longer. But it can also be like you might throw away some really good ideas because you're not hearing certain things. Like there's bits that I wrote and stuff that Paul wrote when we were just trying stuff out, where one of us would say, like, I'd sing it and go, no, that's rubbish. But then Paul would go, hey, no, this bit's cool. Let's take the positives from this. The way you went between, though, even if it's just like a change between two notes over a chord progression, I feel like that's the thing we focus on, and that's what we take from this bit. And it was truly like between the two of us, we wrote something that neither of us could have written like alone. Like there's parts that I'm singing on it that Paul would have written, and there's parts that Paul would have singing that I would have written, and we're both singing constantly stuff that we've written together. It's not like we really did put all the parts together between us. It was really nice, and I feel more really confident in it, knowing that between the two of us, we've kind of quality controlled it to at least to our own tastes.
Yeah,
I think it worked out really well, boys.
Thanks, man.
It's, it's, as I said, on one hand, it's very difficult. I'm a vocalist myself, so I know what it's like, and it's about being open and honest, and that can be really hard to do with other people, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, in front of people.
Yeah.
Oh, what are you writing there, sort of thing. So that trust between you guys and the result is incredible. But I don't know how much time we got. Have you guys got another one coming through?
No, I think we were meant to have one at 11, but I don't think it's happening. I'm meant to do a phoner, so no stress, man.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah, I don't think there's any stress.
Yeah, cool. Well, I just want to know what we're touring and everything on hold at the moment. Understandably, are you guys planning on doing like a streaming thing, or is there anything cooking up behind?
So I guess like the streaming stuff, we kind of said no to as a band, just purely because I guess it's been done really well by other people, and we don't think we can match up or go beyond that. So
to compete with the levels of like Architects and stuff on that stuff is going to be really difficult.
Architects, Tesseract, they both absolutely killed it, I think. And then also it's the vibe. I mean, we vibe off the audience, we vibe off the atmosphere, being in that live environment. A couple of guys are just like, no, it's not for me. I can't do that to a camera. I can't feel the way I won't feel the same about this if that's the case.
I think we're all quite sort of self-conscious people, and I think there's an odd thing that when you're in front of you're in a busy room, you become weirdly less self-conscious. Like doing music videos and stuff, you're so self-conscious, you're so self-aware of everything that you're doing, because it's so isolated and you feel kind of silly for doing it. Like going at just when you're really feeling something, you're going at it, you feel like it's less silly when you're in front of a group of people. But when you're just doing it really dry, it's like, oh my god, this is weird. Especially when you're miming for a music video. I mean, not that you'd mime for one of these live streams, but doing a music video just feels like we're not actors. I think that's the main thing, is that we're not actors. So it's tough to do that. But I mean, we've done a session in the past, and we were thinking about maybe we could think about doing more of a session type thing. So rather than you're performing it obviously because you're singing it, you're playing the instruments, but you're not necessarily performing it like it was a gig. So you can be a bit more kind of relaxed, and if it would feel less
I feel less forced, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I think it really is just horses for courses, because I mean, I don't feel like I watched any of the other bands do it and it felt forced or
I'm with you
fake
there.
in any way. It didn't feel like that at all watching the Architects one.
No, I totally agree, and it's just who we are as a band, I guess. And in terms of shows and stuff, so obviously we've got a bit of time to wait, but we've kind of planning for a tour in April next year for a headline UK. But we want to get out. We want to get out to Australia. We want to get out to New Zealand, get out to Japan again. We want to hit the places that we haven't been, that we know that it's an untapped resource that we could enjoy ourselves. And
also just the bucket list. We've got between a lot of us, there's a bucket list of places to really tick off, and Australia is a big one for us.
Big time.
You came so close, mate. You were literally over the road.
I know.
Mate, I could have waved to you.
I could have done the one-man band, everybody on the backing track, and just kind of sat on a stool. But again, I think the wife would have killed me. So
you could have. It's so close. You could have done that thing when Homer goes fishing in the middle of the night when him and Marge are.
That is old.
And you could have rowed yourself over for a beer and then rowed yourself back while you were asleep. It's that.
What's it, a sequel to Tasman Sea? I can't remember what it is now. And just literally come across there, just literally, snuck into what's the closest place? I don't know my. I don't know. Over that way, and it would have been.
2 streets away.
couple of streets, man. I've just played it, and yeah, Australia's definitely it is on the list, and we really, really, really hope we get sort of picked up by
I think it's
promoters out there.
It's a territory that we could really people would really enjoy us. I think so. I think that's something that we'd really be keen to.
Do you know what I reckon would be an awesome tour? You guys and Architects.
Oh,
we toured with them loads in the past. Yeah, in the
down
UK.
here because they tour here a shitload.
Yeah.
Call your boys up. Say next time. Down there.
Those guys are so popular. I don't even know if we would even register as like an opening act these days.
Come on, give yourself.
Honestly, we'd love to. I mean,
we'd love to. Yeah, obviously, awesome band.
It'd be super good. We just see what happens. I mean, it really depends on management and promoters. But we're there. We're keen. We're basically in Australia in our heads. But
I'm just throwing it out there.
Please, yeah.
I'm just my dream sort of.
I would even say as well, like even touring with maybe a lighter band like Carnival or something like that as opener or something. So I love Carnival. I absolutely love them, and that would be a dream for me. So let's see what happens.
Fingers crossed, boys. Fingers crossed. Hey, well, hopefully it all, not much more of all this, and then we'll see you guys on tour and we'll see you down here. But in the meantime, Loss is out on April 9, which is next week. Well, on too
Friday. It's crazy.
Mate, I know. We'll have all the links down here. Get yourself a cassette or vinyl. Vinyl's look incredible. And buy all the merch from these boys too.
Thank you. Yeah, really appreciate that.
Absolutely. Thanks for hanging, lads, and have a few beers, and we will see you very soon.
Yeah, thanks so much for chatting to us, man.
Cheers. All the best.